So good evening, students. So in this session, we'll discuss about IoT protocols 3. So last two sessions, we have discussed about IoT protocols 1 and IoT protocols 2. So IoT protocols 1, we have discussed about data link layer protocols in IoT. Then session 2, we'll discuss about IoT protocols of network layer. Now we'll discuss about transport layer protocols. IoT protocols 3. So IoT protocols, in this session, we'll discuss about transport layer protocols. So generally in transport layer, it provides end-to-end connection between the host. It does mainly peer-to-peer network or end-to-end connection services. Mainly it has two types of protocols for a transport layer. One is TCP, a transmission control protocol, and another one is UDP, user datagram protocol, that everyone knows. So now we'll discuss about what are the IoT transport layer protocols. So transport layer protocol, which is responsible for establishing a connection and ensuring that all data has arrived safely to the receiver side. So it implies the transport services, which includes the lower level data link protocol that moves the packets from one node to other node. It offers peer-to-peer or end-to-end connection between the two processes on remote host. So we know that it takes the data from the upper layer, that is application layer, and then breaks into the smaller layer segments and hands over to the lower layer. So what is the lower layer of your transport layer? So it will be your network layer, because we have from starting from physical layer, data link layer, network layer, and transport layer. So lower to transport layer will be network layer. So what are the IoT transport layer protocols? TCP, UDP, multipath TCP, that is MPTCP, then DCCP, then SCTP, then for security transport layer security TLS and TTLS. So transmission control protocol is most important protocols in of IP, that is internal protocols. So it is most widely used in used protocol for data communication or data transmission in communication network, for example, such as internet. So it provides acknowledgement of the received packets and also reliable as it resends the lost packet. For example, if there is one sender A and there is a receiver B, starting it wants to give the information to start, it wants to establish a connection, and after that getting the acknowledgement, then it will pass the information or it will transfer the information to the receiver. So in between some information is lost due to some congestion or some problems, so again it resends the packets, lost packets. So it features a TCP is a reliable protocol and it provides end-to-end communication. The receiver always sends either the positive or negative acknowledgement about the data packet where the sender sends the packet. Some of the features of TCP, the data packet is reached the destination or it needs, then again it will resends. Then it is a connection oriented protocol. It provides error checking and also recovery mechanisms. It provides flow control and quality of service. It operates in point to point mode or client to server mode. It provides full duplex, that is at a time it can transmit and it can receive. So how it works? So generally TCP communication works in a three-way handshaking mode. Whether the client or the responder can accept or reject the connection. So for example, if two devices want to communicate, first the initiator and the responder. So initiator will send the synchronous packet to the other device, whether the device is able to establish a connection between the initiator. If the responder is free, it is not having a connection between any other devices. If it is idle, then surely it will send the acknowledgement that I am ready to establish a connection for sharing the information. Suppose if responder is always communicated with the other devices, it is already in communication with other devices, so it will reject the synchronized TCP packet because it is already in other connection. So again the initiator want to respond to other devices, or the initiator want to wait still when the responder completes its information, that is transferring the information or communication between the devices. So generally it will send one synchronous TCP packet to requesting that a connection be established between them. That is, for example, between the initiator and the responder. If the synchronous is received by the responder and if it sends synchronized data, synchronized packet plus acknowledgement, then it shows that it is ready to establish a connection between these devices. So after that, again the initiator will send the acknowledgement, that final acknowledgement that it is ready to send the data, that is send the packets. So next, UDP. When you go for UDP, it is a connectionless oriented protocol. It is not reliable. It depends on higher layer protocols for the same. But it is simple and comes with less overhead. So it is mainly used in audio and it is used in voice and also in video streaming. So UDP is used when acknowledgement of data does not hold any significance. So it will be a good protocol when there is a data flowing in only in one direction. So it does not provide any congestion control mechanisms. Then we'll see what are differences between your TCP and UDP. So what we discussed, that is a TCP is a connection oriented, UDP is connectionless protocol, that is connectionless oriented. It reads the data as a stream of bytes and the messages are transmitted to segment boundaries. In UDP, it contains packets that were sent one by one. So TCP rearranges the data packet in a specific order in the receiver side. But UDP protocol has no fixed order because all the packets are independent of each other. The header size is 20 bytes in TCP, whereas in UDP it is 8 bytes. And TCP does error checking and also makes error recovery. That is, if any error is there, then TCP will recover that error. But UDP performs error checking, but it discards the errorless packets. So TCP is reliable for delivery of data to the destination. UDP also, delivery of data to a destination can't be guaranteed in UDP. So next we'll discuss about the next protocol, that is MPTCP, multipath TCP. So it is an extension of a TCP protocol. It normally that n number of TCP are connected under the MPTCP, that is multipath. So a TCP connection to send data over any number of interfaces while still providing the same service to the applications. So it is extension of TCP. We can say that it supports multi-homing for resilience, mobility, and load balancing. For example, for home appliances, we can go for MPTCP. It does so by establishing a regular TCP flows between the source and destinations and multiplexing the applications. It achieves by combining the several TCP connections, so which is referred as subflows. The subflow can be started IPv4 or IPv6. So in this we can see how the MPTCP works for multi-part TCP. So under this we have n number of TCPs, so which will communicate through multi-part TCP. So next protocol we have stream control transmission protocol. Stream means everyone knows it is a live stream, continuous. So it is a protocol for transmitting multiple streams of data at the same time between the two ends. That is, establish a connection in a network. Sometimes it can be referred as next generation TCP. So mainly it is designed to make it easier for supporting the telephone signaling system, that is SS7. A telephone connection requires that signaling information which controls the connection along with the voice and also other data to be sent at the same time. So we can see SCTP will have the live streams. For example, in this we have 4 streams: stream 1, stream 2, stream 3, and stream 4. So you see TCP, only one single data stream is allowed per connection. So SCPTP allows multiple simultaneous data streams, so within a connection. So each message sent to a data stream can have a different final destination. So we can't say that all the data stream goes only for a one end, for only one receiver. It is not like that. So each stream can go for a different receivers, but each must maintain its message boundary. So it uses 4-way handshake. While we saw TCP uses only 3-way handshake, that is synchronized first acknowledgement, then acknowledgement. But in SCTP, it uses 4-way handshake. So it initiates the communication with packet that identifies the connection. Then the client sends the server for establishing a connection and it starts to transfer the information. So first initializing the connection, that is establish a connection. Then the receiver sends that acknowledgement that we can establish a connection. Then it will send the cookie echoes. That is, it is a server cookie back to, that is, it sends additional information that the client sends the server cookie back to the server. The server then acknowledges the cookie echo with the acknowledgement. So here generally the cookies are used for acknowledgement. So next protocol we'll see, that is DCCP, Datagram Congestion Control Protocol. So it provides a reliability of data and control the congestion in the network. For example, we can see if there is a live video streaming, for example, we have a video server, video streaming, so everywhere, so within 5 devices at a time. So what happens? Normally there will be a data congestion will be there. So the protocol does not require to implement on application layer, so it works on the transport layer within the TCP model. Mainly the audio video streaming applications causes more data congestion on internet. We know that the audio video streaming or works on UDP protocol. So it does not provide any acknowledgement. So and also it doesn't have any congestion control system. So to overcome these problems only, we have implemented the DCCP protocol. It provides a reliable data delivery from one device to other device. We know that there is no any other control system available on the internet network for network congestion. So how it works? So it keeps maintaining the bandwidth on internet by controlling the data congestion. So it minimizes the oversize of packets that is flowing in the network. For example, there is a web client and web server. So DCP data sends, again the data acknowledgement, again the data acknowledgement. So this way it gets the acknowledgement that whatever the audio video streaming from the server to it goes for the client, or from the client to the server, it gives the acknowledgement that I have received the audio streaming or video streaming. So next protocol is TLS, that is Transport Layer Security, and DTLS, Datagram TLS. So generally a TLS and SSL, that is Secure Socket Layer, are the standard protocols for securing stream-based TCP internet traffic. So DTLS is a protocol based on TLS, and it is capable of securing the datagram transport. So these protocols are used to create a secure session between a host for which initialize the session, and there will be a security gateway acting as a server localized in our protected LAN, local area network. So generally it is designed to provide 3 essential services, TLS. First one is encryption, next authentication, next data integrity. You know what happens in the encryption? So a mechanism to unclear, that is what is sent from one nurse to another. So the data will be encrypted data. The sender sends the encrypted data to the receiver. From the receiver side, the receiver should decrypt the data. That what we know in the cryptography. Next, we have authentication. That is the mechanism to verify the validity of the provided identification material. Then third one, data integrity. That is to detect the message tampering and the forgery. What happens? So we can see how the encryption is done in the DTLS. So from the mobile, if you are working for transferring some data, so it will be encrypted to the server. Again from server, it goes for the internet. From the internet, again it goes for some other devices. So this way, the encryption does in the security, that is TLS and DTLS. So DTLS is a protocol reuses the main functionality of SSL and TLS. So only thing, it is a communication protocol designed to protect data privacy and also prevent tampering. So it is a protocol that provides security to computer-based communication networks. We know that what is the main difference between DTLS and TLS. So DTLS uses UDP, that is user datagram protocol. Either TLS use TCP protocol. So it is used across web browsing, mail, and instant messaging. So these are the protocols in the IoT transport layer. So main protocols will be TCP, UDP. So based on that only we have multi-path TCP. For audio video streaming only we have SCCP and DCCP. And for security we have a TLS and DTLS. So thank you. In next session we'll discuss about another layer protocols. Thank you. Thank you.